3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and of course 8. Well done. Your rest time starts now. Your rest time starts now. So we'll carry this and put it there. You did amazing on that workout. Walk around. If you're already feeling the burn like myself, just know you're killing it. You're killing it. You're killing it. Well done. 5 more seconds to go. So our next workout is going to be a shoulder workout. A shoulder workout. But we'll do shoulder press while seated. So let me just bring this here. We'll do 20 military press. Let me see, I hope my water bottle is not leaking. Perfect. So remember, your back must be straight at all times. So 1, 2, 3 and move. 1. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Well done. So my water bottle is leaking a little bit. I'll carry it better in the next set. But let's keep going, keep going, keep going. So we have 30 seconds of rest there. We have 30 seconds of rest. All right. 15 more seconds left. 15 more seconds left. Walk around, walk around. All right. There we go. Our time's up. 20 seconds left. Oh, sorry. 20 reps to go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, keep going. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and of course 20. Well done. Well done, well done. Your rest time starts now. Your rest time starts now. Walk around, walk around. Your rest time starts now. Your rest time starts now. Five more seconds to go. 5 more seconds to go. 5 more seconds to go. And our time's up. Our time's up. Let's go. Take your water bottles. I'm sure you're feeling so good right there. Let's go. Hold it. 1, 2, 3 and move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, keep going, 17, 18, 19, 20. Well done, well done, well done. Your rest time starts now. Your rest time starts now. This feels so good. This feels so good. Walk around, walk around. Walk around. Walk around. We have 10 more seconds to go. 10 more seconds to go. Walk around. 3, 2, 1, and our time's up. Our time's up. We're gonna put this on the side. We're gonna put that on the side and pick this here. So we're going to do 12 repetitions seated, but taking it to the front. All right. 1, 2, 3, and move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Put it aside, and then we're going to take this there, but you don't take it completely down there. Okay, we're going to do 15 of those, arms straight. 1, 2, 3, move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Well done. Well done, well done. Our rest time starts now. Our rest time starts now. 30 seconds, rest time starts now. 30 seconds rest time. Just walk around, walk around, walk around, walk around. We have 10 more seconds left, 10 more seconds left, 10 more seconds left. And our time's up. Our time's up. Alright, get seated, keep the cushion again. 1, 2, 3, and move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Put it down. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Don't take it all the way. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Well done. Your rest time starts now. Your rest time starts now. Your rest time starts now. Look around, look around. We have one more set of that. One more set. One more set of that. This is feeling so, so good. One more set of that. Walk around. You want those toned arms, you know. And remember, you can do this with heavier weights, or you can do more repetitions. So don't feel limited by the number of repetitions we do here. Time's up. One more set. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. No, it's 20. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. The other one that is 15, let's go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Well done, well done. Our rest time starts now. Our rest time starts now. So the next workout we're going to do is a bicep workout. We're going to work out this, biceps. Yeah? So we put this there and we put this there. Put that there to allow us to get space, and we're going to use this water bottle right there. So we have 5 more seconds left. 5 more seconds. Today we are doing upper body. Alright, we're doing a little bit of upper body. Our time's up. So pick the water bottle. We're going to do bicep curls. I'm just going to hold it upright because the water bottle is leaking a little bit. So I don't want it to leak on me. So we just try. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We're doing 15. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Well done, well done. Our rest time starts now. Our rest time starts now. Walk around, walk around. Walk around. We have 20 more seconds, 20 more seconds, 20 more seconds to go. 10 more seconds, 10 more seconds. And our time's up. Our time's up. Let's go. Pick your weight. 1, 2, 3 and move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Well done. Our rest time starts now. Our rest time starts now. We are almost there. Our rest time starts now. Walk around, walk around. We have 1 more set of that. 1 more set. 1 more set of that. 1 more set. Walk around, don't sit down. The trick is not to sit down. Our time's up. Let's go. Last set. 1, 2, 3 and move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Well done, well done. Your rest time starts now. So the next thing we're going to do is a little bit of abdominals. We need these babies to come out, right? Yes, we're going to do a little bit of the abdominals just to bring them out just a little bit. Alright, to spice up everything. So we're going to do 15 side crunches times 3. 15 times 3 for today. Let's go down. We have 10 seconds. 5 seconds left. And our time's up. Our time's up. So lie down on your back. 1, 2, 3, move. Touch your ankle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Well done. Our rest time starts now. You can just stand and relax. Stand and relax a little bit for 30 seconds before we go in for the next set. Stand and relax just for a little bit before we go in for the next set. Remember, my name is Evelyn of Eva Health and Fitness, right? On Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, you can follow us. And we are here at Tizi Nyumbani, trying to get life better for you and myself. 1, 2, 3, move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Well done. Your rest time starts now. Walk around again. Walk around. We're trying to make sure we feel some of this right there. All those questions of how do I get rid of my tummy? Well, there's a lot more to it, just more than just working out the abs, but abs is also one of the many things apart from nutrition and just putting in a little workout here and there, but you also have to train the abs at some point. So one last set, let's do this together. 1, 2, 3, move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Well done. You did an amazing job. You got to the end of this workout. Look out for Peter in our next episode. You did an amazing job. That's it from here at Tizi Nyumbani. Until our next episode, have a lovely day and bye-bye.
Job went through many troubles, but the Bible says that at the end of it, he was more blessed, he was stronger, and he was more wealthy than he had ever been. This is our prayer, this is our belief, that when this is all over, we will be stronger, we will be more blessed, we will be a greater nation than we ever been. God bless you and stay safe.
From far with you. I even gifted you a magnificent house. Rosa, it's the thought that counts. Please help me.
When it comes to fever, you need to be both. Panadol Baby and Infant starts to work on fever in 15 minutes and is gentle on the tummy. Panadol Baby and Infant, tough on fever, gentle on your child.
On the Reloaded, Daring Abroad season premiere, Fatima Ali Mohammed Kenya's face of one of the most memorable TV commercials in Kenya, now a branding and advertising guru in Ghana.
Sokota mviringo mviringo, tapenda.
In Dubai, George Magaga shining in money transfer business. On the new Kenya to the World segment, the daring entrepreneur exporting Kenya's pilipili and traditional vegetables.
We entered into this business by default.
And on Magical Kenya, my whale-watching experience in Watamu, this Saturday at 7:30 p.m. on NTV.
This is NTV.
Greetings, East Africa, and thank you for joining us on Your World on this last Monday of September. I hope you've had a wonderful month. So many months since the reality of the pandemic became part and parcel of our lives. Today, we want to take stock of how you have been doing on the job and business front. I'm talking about how for some, the pandemic has been a silver lining and has catapulted their businesses. For others, a job loss has opened up other and more opportunities to thrive. And for some, you have literally had to restart in another career or job, and the season has offered opportunities for exponential growth. Whatever the circumstances, today we find out how in the midst of all this uncertainty, we can tap from within and without and make the best of the season. My name is Gladys Gachanja, and this is what else you can expect. Today, we take a look at those job or careers that stand the test of time and pandemics. Up in the air, South Africa prepares to reopen its skies. Educated but jobless, these young guys could not find what you would term as regular jobs. Have they changed tactic or are they suffering? We find out. $1 million find, a vase worth $9 million is discovered. Thank you for joining us on this broadcast, and our question of the day to you is, have you had to change your job or your business or your career lately? What made you switch, and how is it going for you so far? Well, talk to us. That hashtag is new normal on our social media platforms, and also you can use that number at the bottom of your screen to call us or text in. But before we get to that, let's take a look around the world and see the toll of COVID-19 in terms of the numbers. And so far, at least this far, 33,306,022 people confirmed to have contracted COVID-19 around the world. Those who have totally recovered from it is 24,637,458 people. Those that have succumbed to the same stands at 1,002,399. Rather 89 people who have succumbed to COVID-19. Now, in our borders, 38,115 people have contracted COVID-19. 24,621 have recovered from that number, and 691 people have succumbed to COVID-19. Again, those numbers keep changing by the minute, and here on Your World, we shall be sure to keep you updated on the same. Now, a look at some of the stories making headlines this morning. And Bandao, a retired colonel who has been designated Mali's interim president following last month's coup, made his first public appearance on Thursday, meeting a regional mediator. Ndao, 70, met former Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan in Bamako on a mission for the 15-nation bloc ECOWAS. On the eve of his swearing-in, Ndao's appointment was announced on Monday by Colonel Assimi Goita, who heads a junta of young military officers who seized power on August the 18th, ousting elected President Ibrahim Boubacar Keita. Goita himself will serve as vice president under the announcement. The interim president will rule for a maximum of 18 months before staging nationwide elections. ECOWAS, the Economic Community of West African States, slapped sanctions on Mali on August the 20th to push for swift restoration of civilian government, including the appointment of civilians as interim president and prime minister. Still back in South Africa, South Africans take on the Jerusalem Dance Challenge, answering a call by President Cyril Ramaphosa for Heritage Day marked last Thursday, a public holiday aimed at celebrating diversity and culture. Many posted videos showing a choreography of the global hit Jerusalem by local producer Master KG that went viral in 2020. Images of a car repair shop crew, the South African Rugby Sevens team, and students from the University of Cape Town. Here are those moves. And another Jerusalem challenge coming your way, courtesy of NTV. Do stay tuned. Now, on July 25th, a cargo ship loaded with thousands of tons of fuel ran aground off Mauritius, leading to the worst environmental disaster ever witnessed in the tiny Indian Ocean archipelago. Now, 2 months later, Mauritius is still taking stock of the damage after its rich fishing grounds and sensitive marine habitats were befouled with oil. The Environment Minister says the work is progressing satisfactorily, but it is a very delicate cleanup operation, and we must make sure that it is done in a methodical and systematic way. The cleanup is divided into 4 phases, and some sites are already in the 2nd or 3rd stage. Elsewhere, Guinea-Bissau celebrates 47 years of independence from Portugal with a military parade and a speech by the president, Umaro Sissoko Embalo. The president says the celebration takes place in a unique and defiant context of our life, referring to the COVID-19 pandemic during his speech. President Embalo said the risk of contamination of the new coronavirus requires us to adopt urgent, harmonized and favorable measures which can strengthen our country's response capacity to the COVID-19 pandemic. He added, "I count on each of you without excluding anyone and without distinction of origin, gender, ethnicity, religious belief, or parentage, because we are a concrete generation. We are all brothers." Still on the continent, President of Zimbabwe Emmerson Mnangagwa calls out the blind pursuit of narrow interests while addressing the United Nations General Assembly in a pre-recorded message. He voices concerns over fair distribution of a COVID-19 vaccine and decries the lack of reform of the Security Council that could lead to greater representation at the UN for African nations.
Zimbabwe welcomes calls by the United Secretary General and the Director General of the World Health Organization, Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus, for the COVID-19 vaccine to be treated as a global public good with guaranteed fair distribution and mechanisms to ensure equal access. Multilateralism is under increasing threat from the blind pursuit of narrow interests. It is deeply regrettable that reform of the Security Council and implementation of Africa's position has not been achieved. We cannot continue with a situation where over 16% of the world's population does not have a voice. Peace, security, and stability are a prerequisite for sustainable development. This can only be achieved in an inclusive process characterized by equally shared commitment and responsibilities.
So to our conversation of the day as we try to figure out those thriving careers or jobs during this pandemic. And remember, we described it could be you found a silver lining and it has catapulted your career during this pandemic, or you've had to literally change jobs or careers to make it during this pandemic and found amazing opportunities that have really made you grow exponentially, or you've literally have had to start over again. And in that starting, you found yourself in a better place. Whatever category you fall in, that's what we'd like to look into and understand what exactly drove you and what you still hold dear as your mantra, even as we go through this uncertain season. And to help us walk this conversation, Joanne Thuo Moshiri, she's in studio, a career coach. Chanya Mwanyota, who is the founder of Soul Food Virtual Restaurants. Also virtually, Peter Morathi, founder, Emperor Fitness, joining us this morning. Alex Moy, who is a digital marketing expert at Archer Digital, and Jackson Murigi, who is a coding teacher and also an IT graduate. Thank you all for joining us on this conversation. And I'll start off with you, Joanne. It has been an uncertain time, yet a time full of opportunities. Talk about that.
Okay, so I'm a career coach. So basically what I do is I help job seekers increase their chances of landing jobs. So everything from revamping their CVs, LinkedIn profiles, doing interview preparations, developing their career IDs, personal branding, and basically just doing everything they need to do to get prepared for the job market. So between March and now, there's been an influx of, the pool of clients. And it's not just people who, have been declared redundant and, they've just been told to go home because of the pandemic, but also people who are trying to recareer. So, after doing, working from home for a long period of time, people are beginning to realize, I want to spend more time with my kids. I want to teach my children how to ride a bike, to count from, from 1 to 100. Work-life balance is important for me. So people are looking for careers that, you know, that will cater for their work-life balance. And then also, just because of spending a lot of time at home, people also have, you know, realized they're passionate about other things. And so, you know, people are looking to follow their passion. People have taken some time to think, you know, like, what are my strengths, my skills, and my passions, and maybe what I'm doing is not, you know, like the thing that I'm passionate about. So there has also been an increase of people who are looking to follow their passions, to follow the thing, you know, that is the fire in their belly. And then now there's also the category of people who have lost their jobs. They've been declared redundant, and now they're looking for, you know, for work, for something else. There's also a category of people who find themselves underemployed. So, you know, you find yourself in a situation whereby your employer cannot keep you at the salary where they had you before. So you need to like maybe take a pay cut, but then still stay in that organization. But you're feeling, you know, underemployed because you're not fully maximizing yourself. So I think it's an interesting time. People are learning to adjust, to stand differently. And, you know, by and large, you know, like just finding new ways of, you know, adapting and bettering their careers.
Okay, and I like the way you've broken it down to different categories. And in all this, which is actually the anchor of this conversation, is literally looking at the glass being half full.
Right.
Talk about the importance of this to thrive during this time.
All right. So for people to thrive during this time, I'd break it down into three things. Three important things: whether, you know, you have been declared redundant, meaning you've lost your job completely, or you find yourself underemployed, meaning you're doing a job that would not be your #1 choice, but you need to feed your family, so you need to do something. Or you've moved from being self-employed, because there are also people who've moved from being self-employed to now they're looking for jobs. You know, they're dusting off their CVs after 10 years because, you know, their consultancies are not doing well, or, you know, their side hustle is not doing well, so they need to go back to employment. And then there are also people now who are moving from being employed to now, like, you know, starting their own businesses. Wherever you are, the first and most important thing is you need to do a self-evaluation and a situation, you know, analysis. Think about your strengths, your skills, and your passions. What's the fire in your belly? What's the one thing that you can do better than anyone else with the least amount of effort? That is your passion. That is your purpose. That is the thing that in the long run is going to give you money. I know there are people who, before COVID-19, it's not something they thought about, but now because, you know, you're at home, you're with your kids, you're thinking about, you know, like, am I a good baker? And do I want to leave my banking job, which is boring, to bake and, you know, like, sell my cakes? So thinking about what your strengths, your skills, and your passions are, even if you won't act on it, that's the most important thing. So that even if you're starting a business, you know, or you want, like, you have a car and you want to open, you know, like, you want to go park it somewhere and sell vegetables, whatever it is it something that you're passionate about? So that you're not just copying ideas and just, you know, saying because this person A went and you know, right now online, anything online selling is doing very well. So because my friend is doing that, let me also do that. You're thinking about what your strengths, your skills, and your passions are, and you're following that. The second thing is, which is also very important, is you need to do your research around the career path that you want to go to. So that if you tell me you want to become a marketing director, do you have a plan of upskilling? Because right now, the other thing that is really going to, or rather, like, it's really catching up is online training. Yes. Because employers are trying to upskill their employees, you know, education and skills, especially in tech. So there's so much online learning. So if you're saying you want to be like a coder, for example, in the past 3 months, like, what certifications have you gotten? How have you upskilled yourself and the skills that you have? Have you upskilled your hard skills? Because we have the hard skills and the softer skills. So, and then have you looked at people who are in the places where you want to go into? So even if it's like, you know, a business or, you know, like a professional job, have you are there people that you know who are currently doing what you want to do? Have you talked to them? Have you found out how they got where they are? Do you have a mentor, like, you know, like someone who can work with you during that journey? You really need to put in the work so that if you get me as a career coach, yes, I will help you, you know, like with your CV, with your LinkedIn profile, with your cover letter, we'll have these conversations, but you need to do the work on, you know, like doing the research and finding out, this is my, the path that I want to take. The last thing is now mapping out the career, whatever it is, even, you know, if it's in business or a professional career, and thinking, in 5 years, this is what I want to do. This is the job of my dreams. This is what I want to do. And in 10 years, I see myself here doing X, Y, Z, earning this amount of money. And then now you start working backwards. What do I need to do now to make sure in 5 years, I'm where I want to be? So those three things are going to be important and are going to help people adapt and make better decisions now during this pandemic.
Definitely great nuggets there that gives us focus and perspective even as we have this conversation this morning. Let me bring in Chanya Mwanyote. You are a Bachelor of Economics graduate. How did we end up to be a restaurant owner and not of one, but 9 of them?
Okay, so this is how it began for me. My first job, we used to walk some distance from the office to go eat. So what I would see is just a standard mama or some guy cooking food by the tent, and would go spend probably 250 to 300 shillings a meal. And in my opinion, it was not necessarily the best meal I could have. And so I said, there's an opportunity here to introduce what I know initially, which was Swahili food. Yeah, but with time, I realized people cannot eat biryani every day. So then I transformed into many others, because food is diverse. You cannot have one solution for it.
Yes. And you started with 1 into 9 of them. Again, when did this happen? During this pandemic, or it's something that you had actually kick-started before the pandemic?
Now, interestingly, this was me before COVID. I started in 2018 as Matam Swahili restaurant. Then I transformed, I added Eco Nigerian, then I added shawarma, then I added mamantilie. So by the end of 2019, we had all those restaurants up and running.
Okay,
yes,
and
yes.
So before the pandemic, we had the 9 restaurants running.
We had them, yes,
okay.
We had the 9 virtual restaurants running.
So how has the pandemic catapulted your business?
Now, because of the nature of my business, having these 9 virtual restaurants, already say 90% of my revenue was online. So what is considered the new normal was my normal pre-COVID. So what this means for me is that now that more people are coming to consume commodities online, it increased my customer base. Yes.
Okay, and when you say the customer base, there's a time people were working from home. Some are still working from home. Has that come to kind of give you a bit of turbulence in the business?
Most definitely, because during the day, my restaurant is located on Ngong Road. There are a lot of offices on Ngong Road, so I was highly dependent on serving lunch to the office people. So once they moved back to their homes, and their homes are not necessarily around my location, and online business is structured around a radius limitation by the platforms I work with. So I lost the office customers. But the good thing is I also gained the working from home customers, because most people who also live around where the kitchen is located, they don't work around there. So they were not my customers per se. So now that they're working from home, they're consuming breakfast and lunch and dinner.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I love your story, and I think it also resonates with somebody else who's been in the business. Peter Murathi, you are in the business of making people look good and live healthy lifestyles by watching the fitness regime. How has the pandemic catapulted your business?
Good morning.
Good morning.
At first, it's important to note. It's important to note that
Okay, we're having a bit of a problem with Peter's connection, but let's move on to Alex Mwai. You are a digital marketing expert. How has the pandemic catapulted your business?
Oh, yeah, it has big time. I've moved from, at first I remember before Corona, I only had 2 clients that I was doing home training for. Right now I have 12 clients that I train virtually and also at home.
Okay, and what exactly is it that you do in digital marketing?
We do online, I do a lot of online classes. With online classes, we're doing a lot of personal training sessions. So it's one-on-one with the client. It's an hourly based session. So get to meet the client online, have a timed session, get their measurements. Everything you're doing is just basically virtually, which is something I had not done before. I was used to one-on-one in the gyms, but courtesy of Corona, it has also made people more sensitive about their well-being. And if you note that majority of the clients have started buying weights and working out at home, so it has actually made the demand for personal training and home training actually influx.
And how has that challenged your changing up how you do business in terms of how you engage with your talent to ensure you still get a maximum output out of it?
Especially, it has, in a good way, made me learn also how to manage my time. In the essence that when you're having this 1 hour session on with a client, it's basically 1 hour online. You see, when it's in the gym, you're able to push this client one-on-one, you know? You're able to push in terms of the speed work and all that. So virtually it's a bit different because some of the clients can make a lot of excuses. Someone can say the net is down and all that. So it has made me also try to come up with key ways to be able to give results. Mostly we start with a good meal plan. Then from there, you're able to capitalize on the exercises, few exercises, a lot of metabolic training that you're able to do it very minimal time, but the results are there.
And I like the fact that you talk about you've learned how best to make use of your time. When you think about the number of clients that you've been able to increase, would that have been possible within the gym area?
I totally doubt it would have been possible. It wouldn't have worked before. I've been in the fitness industry for about 5 years in Kenya now. It has not been the same experience that you're experiencing now. And also in terms of the clientele as well, Gladys, it's good to note that in the gym, you're able to have maybe even 10, 20 clients, but they are paying you less in comparison to now the online sessions that you're doing with only 10 clients who are able, actually 5 are able to pay you what the 20 were paying you in the gym setting.
Okay, excellent, excellent. And even as you think about your business going into the future, do you see yourself now combining the two as we slowly open up the spaces that were closed up, or are you now just an online fitness guru?
Oh, yes. There's a high chance of combining both. You'll note majority of the clients who have invested in their own home gyms, chances of them returning back to the gym more or less very low. So what you're trying to do is also do a lot of outdoor activities. So still engage the clients at home, still go to gyms and still train those who cannot maybe perhaps afford the gym equipment and be able to equip their own gyms at home. Then at the same time, combine now the two clientele, the home training and the gym training clientele, with some outdoor activities. These are basically your hike, your camping, and just traveling out of town once a while.
All right. Now let's hear from Alex Mwai, who is a digital marketing expert. How has the season been for you and the business?
Thanks for having me, Gladys. Definitely, we could say that our business or digital marketing really has taken shape in that now people need to find a way to reach the customers who are online, the people who are at home, and what best way, they used to use a lot of means before, but now, even people with a storefront, I think like Peter would say, maybe if you had a gym, there are not a lot of people who are passing by that location to see that there's a gym. So right now business has picked up, seemingly that there's a few people who want to get their businesses in front of their customers, or still want to communicate, or still want customers to buy from them. So online really has been a big medium that they're taking on. And we can say that, yeah, digital marketing is now being validated as one of the best ways to market.
And it has also opened up opportunities beyond the borders. Talk about that.
All right, thanks, Gladys. So definitely we've been able to work, I guess, with this digital, and now people believing that you can actually speak to a consultant or a marketing expert or whoever, all from wherever you prefer. We got the opportunity to be able to work for government agencies even beyond Kenya. We've worked with the Ministry of Health here. We've worked with the Ministry of Health in Tanzania, in Nigeria, South Africa. We were able to still, well, as we're doing here right now, like having an online connection and communicating, we're able to do that and help a business or help a ministry from a different country directly from our homes, directly as we're working, because the expertise we had was able to support what we're doing.
Okay, Alex, to be honest, if the pandemic never happened, do you think you would have catapulted as you have?
Possibly not, because it would have taken a bit more time, because not a lot of people still believed in the aspect that, you could use a Facebook, you could use Instagram, you could use, like social media to advertise, you could use a platform, even like Zoom, to connect with an expert from a different country to even work. So yeah, I think the pandemic really catapulted the way we work. Saying that even in this interview, I'm at my office and you are at this, you are at NTV, we're able to speak and you still feel like, you can reach into and still communicate with me as easily as possible.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
And the season has definitely had all of us change how we view certain ways of doing things. And has this been a challenge trying to, win over some clients who do not believe or never thought that the digital era would be a driver of business?
Well, definitely, because I think now it has able to catapult to, I'd rather try this.
Okay, we'll get back to Alex in a moment, but we have our teacher online. His name Jackson Mwirigi. You are a coding teacher. What exactly is it that you do, and how has this season smiled upon your craft?
Good morning. I'm actually privileged to be live today. Like you just said, I do teach coding. And I was teaching coding somewhere in another college before I started doing it on my own. And one of the challenges that I just noticed after the pandemic is that, you see, the kids had a lot of time there at home. They were just idle there. And there was a time when I was just teaching in another college. There was a parent who brought the child. So she was a 9-year-old. And she wanted her to be a bit engaged because the parent was very busy, was having a busy schedule. So she would just drop her at their place and then in the evening just pick her. But the challenge was at that campus we were very focused to training those other students who are high school graduate and college student. So that kid was not really getting much because we were just leaving her there. She used to get bored and just start doing TikTok videos, all that. So because there was a time I had done a bit of Scratch in another children's home, Makimei children's home, as you go to Kikuyu. So I started thinking about now pandemic just came in and everyone, we had too much time. Also the salary reduced, and I also I didn't want to go home like most people. You see, the pandemic came in and started leaving Nairobi, going home. I just saw I'll get bored there. It wouldn't make much sense. So I had to think about how can I just do to even continue focusing on my coding and now making an impact to the society. And then I started thinking about now I can engage kids and start teaching coding. So that's why it came up, and then I headed up into teaching kids, and it brings much joy to be able to see that I'm making an impact.
Yes.
They really like it. So you see, I get motivated because I can see I'm making an impact.
Now,
and almost, sorry.
Sorry, but Joan talked about coding, you're talking about coding, and somebody is wondering, what is this coding that everyone talks about nowadays? Please define what exactly it is that you teach.
Okay, all right. Thanks for that seeking clarification. I just started talking about the process. Yeah. So coding is basically now learning how to create computer program, and how getting to understand how things work, how computer works, how programs are designed, what are the processes are involved in the whole thing of creating softwares. So that's what we teach actually. That's what I teach. Coding, that's programming. Another term is programming.
Okay, and when you think about the job that you had before in a class teaching the, students coding vis-a-vis what you're doing now with these kids during this pandemic, which is more lucrative?
It's what I'm doing because it's something I'm passionate about. Yeah, because I'm more passionate in teaching, and it brings me much joy seeing that I'm able to explain those big concepts into the little ones, and they're able to get excited about doing programs, creating their own stories, animation, and simple programs here and there. So it brings much joy. So because it's something I'm passionate about.
Okay, and how many students are you dealing with this far?
It's not been that easy. You see, at the first, I was just trying it out, seeing like I can be able to engage kids and stay a bit busy.
Yes.
And also have even kids do something creative and exciting. So it took a while because I started on April. I had three students. I was trying to just engage there and there. And then it started like that. I got like 10. That's in June. After now struggling, like trying to market myself on Twitter. On Twitter, you'll just find me. I was just trying to. Sometimes I was even posting a post and then I getting only one like and on just and going dry without even engaging even a single client. Then at some point I got like, so I can say up to now, like I have around 80 kids that I'll be able to train from July.
Oh, well done, well done. Yeah. And somebody is asking, Mwalimu, when the schools are opening, because today the teachers were told to report to school, unarudi shuleni kweli?
I think it's gonna be tricky because you see now after you start doing your own things and you become, there is that kind of a.
Yes, I think he is saying he's now going back. He has found a more lucrative space, and when he comes back, he'll tell us more about it. And Joanne, one thing that stands out for all the stories we've had today is that it's taken passion and also sort of readjusting to pursue these passions, but also a lot of keenness on the need on the ground is so imperative. Talk about that.
Okay, yeah. So it's true, passion is important, but then, like you need to realize what service is needed, and do you have capacity to deliver that service? Because of the pandemic, of course, things like e-commerce and logistics are going to be big. Like the Amazons, the Facebooks, the Instagram, like everyone wants to market digitally. That is going to be big. E-health. People are mocking about our work-life balance. So, we had somebody who is doing fitness online.
Peter.
That is going to be, that is going to be big. Also, parents are noticing that there are certain skills that you can start teaching your kids at a very early age, and that is going to be very important. So things like coding and piano lessons and, like whatever skills, you can start teaching your kids, that also is going to be big. So thinking about what is going to be big in the next 5 years and, breaking that down and saying, do I have some skills, or am I passionate about, any of these areas, and trying to build something around that, that is wisdom. So that then, you're not just looking for any kind of job, or because, you've been doing marketing for the past 10 years and that's what you're used to and that's what is comfortable, like you just stay there. Thinking about where the world is now heading, because things are not going to be the same again. Things have shifted, the way employers are even hiring. Many companies have, reduced workspace and apt technology, and they're trying to see how can we have very few people in the office but doing a lot. Many employers are going to now help their employees work from home because they've seen it's really working, and people are really effective because they're spending time with their families and they're happy. And by and large, the people who have managed to maintain their jobs and work effectively, like it's really working, like the working from home thing. So things are not going to be the same. Being aware of that and just trying to think, where is the world going to head in the next 5 years, and adjusting and placing yourself where you need to be. So it would mean recareering, like changing your job altogether. It would mean it could also mean upskilling in terms of the things that you're learning and developing, and also just getting the right kind of mentoring. Yeah.
Okay, and for you, Chanya, it has been a good run, but your story also speaks of a lot of adaptability. Now, people would assume that people always eat, so their food business will always thrive, but that has not been the case. You've had to shift and adapt as you go along, right?
Yes, most definitely. Especially with the pandemic, it touches highly on hygiene. So it is not obvious that people will eat. It took a lot of adjusting, doing promos, knowing what people want to eat now. Are they more attracted to breakfast than lunch, than dinner? Do they want stews or grilled food? Do they want salad or vegetables, steamed vegetables instead? It has taken a lot of adjusting and understanding and transforming with the customer. Yes, so it's not an obvious ride.
And speaking of which, we have been in a season where everyone is more conscious about what they put on their plate. Has that impacted on your business?
Well, as much as people are conscious and all this, there are reasons why restaurants exist, Across the board, some people are lazy, some people don't know how to cook, some people think it takes too much time. So those needs still need to be solved. Yeah. And because of that, then it has helped us remain in business. So you, as a business person, it is your job now to figure out how you will appeal to this customer, how you will transform with them and continue to solve their need despite the hygiene issue and the awareness that people have now around, and the concerns around COVID transmission.
And even as you think through your business, I mean, the pandemic has really had a social impact or social economic impact on all of us. How have all the 9 restaurants continued to do well, or there's some that you've thought I might have to let go?
Yes, I actually had to let go some. I had 9 years pre-COVID, but I had to drop some and bring in others. Like pre-COVID, I didn't have a breakfast virtual, but into the season, there was more business in the morning because people wake up, say, by 6 out of their normal routine from before. So then they start ordering early. So breakfast was very busy. So then I came up with Breakfast Republic to take care of that. And breakfast is a meal that some people can have throughout the day. Yes. So it also affects, the virtuals that would sell more over lunch. It's really trying to create a balance and solving the problem for many people, just trying to attract as many consumers your way so that you sell more and stay afloat and keep the balance and not lose your income. But luckily for me, my turnover has increased during the season.
All right, excellent. Now, still speaking about thriving careers, tens of thousands of university graduates enter the job market every year, but many of them go for years without securing jobs, while others settle for whatever job that comes their way. In the worst case scenario, some graduates are rendered unemployable, either because of the quality of their courses or the relevance of their courses to the job market. Now, we took NTV's Rose Wangoi and compiled the stories into this short, powerful excerpt to drive the reality of changing careers and goals home.
Fashion. I love fashion. I just love dressing up. Going to university is not a guarantee that you're gonna get a job or make it in life. Number one, you honestly have to be street smart and book smart at the same time. I was in Maseno school and I scored an A-. I pursued a degree in astronomy and astrophysics at the University of Nairobi, where I graduated. But before I did, I ventured into entrepreneurship at third year. I love art. I draw, and fashion was something that I never actually thought that I would apply my artistic self in it. So I used to draw a lot of sketches, and then once upon a day I found myself approaching a tailor and asked him to do a design, and he couldn't do it the way I honestly envisioned it. So I decided, these guys are letting me down, why can't I just go and do it myself? 6 years later, here we are. 8,000 shillings that I saved for around 3 semesters to buy that. So it's all about just saving, be persistent, and just push and be passionate about whatever you're having. I was working from my room, and that's why I learned how to put up a suit. And the first client was definitely myself, because I had to try out my product. It was something that I used to enjoy. So most of my buddies back then asked me, why shouldn't you sell these things? So when I started selling, that's when I realized, oh, so there's actually a market for this.
My parents were pushing me. You have to do medicine, you have to do medicine, but I didn't like medicine in the first place. My father is in the medical field, so when I cleared high school, my grades combination, I had qualified for nursing, so I didn't want to take nursing. So they told me you have to do IT because everyone is doing IT. In 2012, I joined JKUAT in Nakuru town. I did IT just for 6 months, then I dropped out. I realized it was not my passion. I didn't like IT. At times I will not go even for lectures. So my mom asked me, what do you want to do? I told her cooking. I had made up my mind, so I applied for a January intake at Mount Kenya University to do a bachelor's in hospitality management. When I graduated in 2016, I was already working in a hotel. Working in a hotel, sometimes it's hectic because of the hours, the long hours. You have to stand, you have to make the customer smile, you have to smile for the customer. So I decided to go into self-employment in 2019. Because of the experience that I got from the hotels, I thought I was matured enough to start a business.
The story there of 2 graduates who are following their passion and, of course, you know, rising beyond the fact that there are no jobs for them, but making use of their passions. And I like what was mentioned in that story about the importance of being street smart for you to make it in that business. Peter, when you started off Emperor Fitness, did you ever think there'll be a time where you will be dealing with your clients via a gadget?
Honestly, no. I think that the type of training I had gotten used to was one-on-one. I had pioneered something we call Catabox, which is an aerobic session that I was teaching one-on-one. I was doing personal training one-on-one. I had not yet kind of seen a day that would rise and I would be training a client when I'm in my house. I had not envisioned that.
How long has Emperor Fitness been around?
Emperor has been around for the last 3 years, but I've put more effort to it after I lost my job last year, December, for the same reason why I think my employer felt Emperor was becoming a threat. So this year is actually when I've put a lot of effort to try and make the brand grow. And I resonate with NTV, especially on the opportunity of doing the NTV Tizi Mtaani and currently the NTV Tizi Nyumbani, which has also propelled me to grow and assisted me in my career and also getting the brand out there.
Okay, now apart from putting the business out there, it is imperative that you are street smart to ensure that it not only flourishes, but you keep your customer base. What are the lessons you've learned along the way?
It's indeed important to be street smart. You need to understand that some trainers might even have much better qualification than I do. They might even have much more experience in terms of years than I do. But how you relate with your client also really matters a lot. The trust you build, the professionalism you build, the track record that you build, the relationship. How well you're able to nurture that client from baby step when you're starting a session, how well you're able to understand them on an individual level, personalize everything. That's why it's called, some of the sessions we do, we call them personal training because it's personal. Gladys is Gladys. Gladys is not Jane. So you need to understand that and make the client feel very comfortable around you. And through that, you grow through referrals. And I think word of mouth is the best way actually for a business to actually thrive.
And have those lessons come in handy for you during this season?
Oh, yes. I believe the success that I'm enjoying today is as a result of understanding that regardless of your paperwork, you might have so much qualifications on paper, but if you're not street smart on how you relate with people, building relationship, nurturing relationship, and understanding even that some of these relationships will cost you money to nurture and maintain. If it wasn't for such lessons, I don't think I would actually be where I am today.
Very well said. And I wonder if that's the same with Alex Moi. What has been your lessons during the beginning of your business and into the current season?
Oh, for sure. Thanks, Gladys. Lessons learned early on so that we could consistently keep up with this business was that you have to continue offering your service the best way you can. As Peter was saying, build relationships, thrive them. And yeah, they say there's a lot of competitors, but if you focus on your customer more than the competitor, focus and deliver the best service you could. And I think that was one of the biggest lessons that we learned in our business, that there might be many people who do whatever you do, but if you actually focus and position your business to provide value to every business that you collaborate with or work with, they'll always come back and they'll always continue doing business with you, and then also do the way referral is continuing to do. So yeah, that was a big lesson. Yeah.
Let's talk about versatility. How has that come in handy for you in the current season?
Being versatile definitely is one of the biggest things around digital, meaning that we've been able to position and shift not only our services as well, to be able to offer much more than the standard business or standard marketer who's doing this. It says that our versatility has been able to make a team, a diverse team of people who are experts in whatever they do, and then constantly learning and improving. As somebody was saying, you need to improve your skills. You need to be versatile in order to, when things are coming up, you are always in the know and always in front of the curve when things are, when things are happening here, and even in your professional skill set. So being versatile really has helped our business and even myself to be very considered, that you can do a lot of things with, I think, the mind alone. Yeah. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and speaking of versatility, definitely, Mwalimu Jackson, this is why you are now teaching coding to young children. But even as you improve on yourself, have you had to also, pick up some skills because your audience has totally changed?
Yeah, you see, you cannot compare teaching a high school student with the kids. It's totally different. How you even get to talk to a kid is totally different from how you talk to an high school student or a university student. So I got to get to learn and understand how to better interact with kids. But the good thing about I've always have one advantage about about working with kids. It has been a bit easier for me even before I started teaching kids to engage with kids, because even where I live, I get to have kids are very free with me. They get to tell their stories and they are always willing to talk to me. So I also got that as an advantage. Plus now I also want to keep on reading a lot and to be able to understand how best to engage kids and how to communicate with them, especially, for example, sometimes a kid, you might ask them to do some work, but they might not be able to complete it. You see, you cannot just start talking to them like an adult, like you didn't do this, or you didn't do this. There's a way you approach that in case they failed to deliver what you asked them to do. So I had to learn that such things, yeah.
So you are improving on self even as you go along with the season, and somebody is saying you were cut off when you were answering the question, are you going back to the classroom or is this your new hustle going forward?
Yeah, I was saying about that. It can be a bit tricky to get back now to the employer again. You see, I've just started this one. So it's going to be a good idea if I keep pushing it, because it's a skill that it is required, and coding is becoming a basic skill that everyone should have. So it's ideal if I could keep pushing it, because it's something I'm passionate about. So I would want to give it a try.
Okay.
I don't want to just let it go like that.
And speaking of which, yes, a lot of people are taking up coding. How are you ensuring that you stand out from the crowd as a provider of this skill?
Yeah, talking about now being to stand out. One of the key things is customer service. Of course, you need to make your client happy so that they can also come again and again, and also refer their friends and families. I would say that the way we do it, there is one thing I try to integrate it, because you see sometimes these kids come from different, because I mostly work with kids, they come from different backgrounds. Some of them have got some weird maybe attitude, some come up. So I try to incorporate mentorship in it, so that it's more of you're not just learning coding, but you're even picking other stuff on the way.
Very well said. Now, we need to let go of Peter Murathi because he has a client in the next hour. But Peter, before you go, a question to you. What are you doing to ensure you stand out from the crowd in a season where fitness is actually an in thing, if you may call it that? And how or what can you advise those that are struggling in this season to find their footing?
What I'm trying to do, number one, is customer service. I try to ensure that I'm giving the best service to my clients. I'm able to answer their questions. So I try to also read holistically and diverse. I try to keep myself up to the latest trends in terms of the fitness industry. I'm also taking a lot of courses, online courses. So currently I'm even studying a course in metabolic training. I'm doing another course in nutrition. So it's an everyday improvement to actually be able to make your art and your craft better. My biggest advice to all the trainers out there is to basically change. Accept that the times are different and you have to adapt to the new way of doing things. Most people are going online. Try change your way of doing business and your way of thinking, and just try be more creative. Stand out in a different area, be unique. And I always say it's better to do something for free than stay home idle, because some of the opportunities I've gotten when I was actually volunteering to train some of the clients at no cost. And from there, you're able to build business. So whoever is at home, a trainer struggling at home, not getting ends meet, go to your local church, volunteer to do aerobics for them for free every Sunday or every Saturday, and you'll be shocked. From there, you can actually get 1 or 2 clients. So yeah, thank you.
Very well said. Peter Murathi, founder, Emperor Fitness. Thank you for your time, and we wish you all the best and good health in this season.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now we take a short break on Your World. When we come back, we talk about some of those things that you need to thrive in either your job or career in these uncertain times. And we shall also be joined by somebody from Uganda, even as we hear what they are doing in that country, and of course borrow some best practices from that end. Remember, our question of the day to you is, have you had to change your job, your career, your business in this season? And what exactly made you have to change, and how is that going for you? #NewNormal. See you in a bit.
We're starting with 51 students, but some of you will go home.
So, if your content is not interesting to look at and interesting to listen to, I'm out of there.
Good morning, Kenya. I am Mary Nyokabi.
And I'm Walter Koech, and welcome to our breakfast show.
The Coffee Talk, where we entertain you, educate you, and inspire you.
It looks like Lushan is sticking her nose into things that are none of her business.
This isn't the right time.
He was always after me and everything was just going great. Until Marta got in the way, just as she did with your father.
If there's anything that concerns my children, you have to tell me about it. Do you understand?
Excuse me for interfering, but if Luciana didn't...
But still, she doesn't have any right to keep from me anything that has to do with my children.
Yes, but...
I don't even want to think about how much trouble she's in.
Luciana, the fact that I can't be with you doesn't mean that I can just forget everything I feel for you.
Are you alright, Madam Lillian? Is anything wrong? It's nothing you can fix. Nobody has the cure for love problems.
Along Came Love, in association with Blue Band Peanut Butter. Let's go, Kenya.
I want to encourage all people in Kenya to visit the national parks, game parks, conservancies, and make sure they experience what's happening in the conservancies and in our national parks.
On the Reloaded Daring Abroad season premiere, Fatima Ali Mohammed, Kenya's face of one of the most memorable TV commercials in Kenya, now a branding and advertising guru in Ghana.
Sokota mviringo mviringo, tapenda.
In Dubai, George Magaga, shining in money transfer business. On the new Kenya to the World segment, the daring entrepreneur exporting Kenya's pilipili and traditional vegetables.
We entered into this business by default.
And on Magical Kenya, my whale-watching experience in Watamu, this Saturday at 7:30 p.m. on NTV.
It's time to kickstart your smart and give your brain a mega boost with DSTV. There's oodles of mind-blowing channels for kids young all together now. To get your knowledge workout, get connected to DSTV.
Thank you for staying with Your World. My name is Gladys Gachanja as we focus on those thriving careers or businesses during this pandemic. Yes, there are those who are doing well, and we are finding out this morning that they all have something in common. They are looking at that glass as being half full as opposed to being half empty and tapping in them what needs to help them survive or ride the tide that is the COVID-19 pandemic. Still with me in studio, Joanne Thuo Mushiri, who is a career coach, Chanya Monyota, who is a founder of a Soul Food Virtual Restaurants, and we are also joined by Alex Moyo, digital marketing expert, and Jackson Wirigi, who is a coding teacher. And we are also joined from Uganda by Abbas Mpindi, who is a media entrepreneur, and also Peter Gishangi, who is the chairman of the Safaricom Investment Cooperative Board. Thank you all for joining us this morning. And let me start off with you, Chanya. Chanya, you started off this business with 700,000 as capital. Literally, you started small but now have exponentially grown. What are the lessons that you carry with you from those humble beginnings?
What I would say is you have to keep going. There are days I would go to the restaurant and cook food, and the whole day you've not sold anything, but you still have to wake up tomorrow and come and make more food, which you really don't know if you would say sell. But most importantly, I would say don't obsess with your product. Rather obsess with your customer and what the problem you're trying to solve for them, and the process that you are applying in solving this problem. That is what will give you the agility to stay in business.
And
Yes.
you are a Bachelor of Economics graduate. Do you think you've been able to combine that graduate and now the person who runs restaurants today?
Most definitely. I understand basic business principles, basic accounting, so it definitely helps for me. Even without going deep into the mathematics, I can tell if I'm on the right track or it's a miss. Yes, so most definitely my course is very helpful in running my business today. Yes.
Alex, when you think about your humble beginnings, how have they contributed to give you probably the strength and the willpower to keep riding this tide that is the pandemic?
Sure, thanks, Gladys. Definitely, I think grit is one of the most important things while starting a business. I started my business just as a campus hustle, just doing some things just to make some pocket money. And while you were starting to do it, a lot of people were they didn't believe in the concept of having somebody to do social media, having somebody as something that could reward their businesses. So I believed in grit, perseverance to see that in the future, there is something that could come up of this, and put hard work into it, then continue with it. Yeah.
And how has that now fed into the current season?
Seemingly now that we've been doing it and we've done it for, I think, about the past 4 years or so, that grit and having that expertise of always working hard and improving what you do and learning more, etc. So it well positioned us. So when COVID hit and some businesses were really looking to change up how they're doing their things, we had the expertise and have run the business for a significant enough time to understand how can we bring true value to this business, while even though that their costs and what they can put into this is maybe their budget is really low at this point, or sales have been dipping. How can you really improve them to turn around and bring value to their business? So having that grit, having that hard work that we've been able to learn and improve and run a business even from a minimal perspective, starting from whatever you can and constantly improving, that skill set and that expertise then came into now that COVID has hit, somebody has tried, they've appreciated your expertise now.
Aha. Okay, let's hear from Abbas Mpindi, who is a media entrepreneur from Uganda. Abbas, how has this season translated to your business and for your business?
Thanks, Gladys. I hope you can hear me okay. First and foremost, thank you for bringing this angle to the news, because we're really tired of numbers, and the world needs to know what solutions are there out in the world and who is doing something about the challenges we are all facing. For me, my business of training young journalists also had come to a standstill at the beginning of the lockdown. But what we realized is that the world didn't stop moving, or the world didn't stop working because there was a lockdown. We were in a lockdown, but the world was still moving. And we could have been in our houses, but still people needed services, and people still needed knowledge and training, and people needed media literacy. So for us, we pivoted quickly to putting our program online and making sure that our flagship fellowship program continues to operate with our young people who by then I would say may never have had the experience of using Zoom and other online tools, but we had to pivot and make sure that it's the new normal. So that was the transition, and now we've been very successful in seeing that we bring together a hybrid product where we can still do physical sessions with them, following the social distancing procedures, but we can also be able to include online sessions. And what we also realize is that people are willing to come on board and support your program from all over the world without traveling to your country. So initially you would have costs of, having to fly experts from other countries to come to Uganda. But now we see that that's not impossible. We can still get these guys to facilitate sessions with our students even here. So,
now,
yeah.
the success of your business, of course, is tagged on agreeable clientele. How has that been, convincing guys that you can invest with me, even though we haven't met one-on-one in a bedroom, for you to believe that I'm good at my craft?
Yeah, the advantage, I think, I would say that the principles that require business to succeed never changed. So discipline and communication and ensuring that you're giving value to the client is very core. So for us, we already had established that credibility with our young journalists and with their families and with our partners. So it was a matter of, we will still give you the same experience online as we have been giving you the same experience when we are face-to-face. But when you promise that, you make sure that once it happens, you deliver, because they're going to be looking out for that, saying, okay, let's see how this online experience is going to be. And before we even started to do online trainings, we made sure that we do, working with our partner DW Academy, we went through a training of trainers for e-platforms, ETTs. And that really helped us to see what tools are out there that can interactively engage young people online, so that they don't feel bored, they don't feel lectured at, they don't feel like you're the only one speaking as a facilitator. So it was a matter of pivoting our participatory methodologies of training to make them online friendly and use them to make sure that the experience doesn't change. So in cases where we used to have 26 students, for example, in one room, we had to move them to 2 rooms, but also ensure that we have Zoom and we have different TV screens to make sure that we can have energizers together and see each other. We can still talk to each other and exchange conversations across the 2 rooms without being in the same room, and still ensure that the community is still intact. And we have to have evening activities that follow social distancing procedures, but still ensure that they feel that they're still connected even. And we actually called our first fellowship week apart together, that even if you are in another room, we're still here together and we're still experiencing the same training.
Okay, and Abbas, when you think about the lockdowns that we have experienced, and of course many other measures due to the pandemic, you have found a silver lining in all that. Speak about that.
So initially we thought, initially we had conversations with partners, and you would suggest, let's do Zoom and break the deal and make sure things are, we're done with everything and we sign the contracts. But that changed with COVID because the attitudes totally changed, even with government units where initially you had to wait for people for 8 hours, a whole day or something. Now it's very quick. They even are quick to suggest, hey, can we do Zoom? You cannot meet me in person, but can we discuss this online, and then we proceed with the program. A good example for us is we are now going to work with the Aga Khan University Innovation Center on the Innovators in Residence project. And I'm sure a lot of people are seeing this in Kenya, in Uganda, and Tanzania. And it's an opportunity for media innovators across the region to come and develop their ideas that can address media challenge issues that face all of us today. And that we would never have achieved if it wasn't for online platforms. Some of the guys that we're discussing with, I've never met in person, but we're looking at each other in the screen, and we feel that we can work together on this project. And
and it has also actually opened up the opportunities for your students too. Places and how to teach them has also changed, right?
Yes, definitely. Opportunities for young people have also changed. Now they can interact with people across the borders. For our sessions, for example, we had never had any expats joining us from abroad in most cases. But this time around, we had like 10 plus expats from France, the US, Ghana, South Africa, Kenya, everywhere joining us to just, share their journalism experience with our students. We had someone from Italy share at the peak when Italy was hit really hard. We had a journalist from Italy sharing his experience covering COVID-19 and other.
Okay, we're having a bit of a challenge with Abbas, but let me bring in Jackson. Earlier we touched on the importance of the lessons of that humble beginning. It started off as any other teacher on the upward ladder, and now here you are with your own business teaching coding. What are the lessons that you derive from that humble beginning? Jackson?
Sorry, I think I didn't hear that one correctly.
We all have humble beginnings, starting off our hustle. I'm sure it was the same for you as you tried to learn the ropes as a teacher, and now you have your own business in coding. What are the lessons from that humble beginning that you carry on to today?
Okay, what I can say, it's being consistent and being patient and trusting the process, because it's not that easy getting started and getting the first client actually until you get to even at 10 of them. It takes a lot of time and hard working. Being consistent, putting your post there on social media, because I've been doing it online on Twitter a lot. My Twitter is it's Idali Jackson. You can even check me there. So I started even at a point where I was just posting a post and no one likes it, no one retweets, until at some point I started getting some likes, retweets, and even comment, until when I got many more clients. And also another thing I can also say that I've learned is believing in yourself. You need to believe in yourself and trust your guts. You need to be courageous enough.
Okay, and briefly, Joan, what are the lessons that we should all derive from humble beginnings, and especially at a time where most people have had to shift the way they were thinking about their dreams, where their goals, their careers, their jobs, their businesses?
Yeah, I think the most important lesson is that there's no shame in adjusting. So it could mean that you need to take what I was talking about, being underemployed, a job that is not right for you, but maybe you need to do it for a season as you wait to weather the storm. Or it could mean, downgrading in terms of what you're driving or where you're living. There are so many people who've had to go back up country. Whatever the case may be, I think like one of the lessons that is very clear is being brave and being like having grit and being tenacious, especially in this time. These things go a long way to ensure that you don't drown, because the people who, when the pandemic hit, they quote unquote, they were just like shocked. People ended up making mistakes, probably quitting jobs that maybe they should not have quit in the first place. There are people who did not adjust quickly. So you kept driving that car and maybe you knew that you're going to be declared redundant. You didn't downgrade where you're living, and then now you have arrears, your house has been closed, you have a family. So things just became, like went from, worst to worst. So people who did not adjust quickly, I feel struggled. There are people who have been able to weather the storm because they adjusted quickly, and they're not, afraid of downgrading. And like, who cares where if people are going to laugh that, there's one time you're in Kilimani, then the next time you're living in Kino, who cares? Or you're not driving that car. Weathering the storm would be important because things are not going to be the same. And so just getting a better way to stand. I feel that's the greatest lesson. Yeah.
Okay. And speaking about weathering the storm, the social economic impact cannot be ignored, and this has really reduced the spending power for most Kenyans. Let's bring in Peter Gachanja, Chairman, Safaricom Investment Cooperative Board. I mean, this is the time where every shilling counts. So investments have probably been put to the side for most Kenyans, but also there are those who are finding these times as the best opportunities to invest. Speak about that.
Thank you very much for welcoming me to the show. Indeed, this has been a season of mixed fortunes for various people, and introspection for quite a number of people and businesses. I think we've heard of what people have done, how you can reposition. And what we have seen as the investment cooperative, where we largely deal in properties, houses, land, value-added land, etc. We had quite some tough time, I think, in April, May, where most people were uncertain of what to do, and people are holding back quite a bit. The impact was being felt as, people are being told to take unpaid leave and to step away from work. Quite a number of businesses downsized, and many people were uncertain. What we then saw in June, July, up to date, we have seen a lot of people seeking to find something that they can hold for themselves in terms of a property. We have seen quite a lot of interest in people getting, our pieces of land, value-added land, and starting to make plans on how to prepare those. We have seen a couple of people looking to acquire some of the houses that we have in the thinking that they would want to have their own property where they can have peace of mind once they own. We have various models of selling, which then possibly have presented some opportunity where you can, give a deposit and pay over the long term. We have changed some of the things that we had initially, allowing people to pay over longer periods of time, and that has eased the burden for quite a number of people. We have a tenants purchase program for our houses where it's almost equivalent to paying rent, and you own the house over a period of time as you continue paying, your small monthly amounts. And we have seen a lot of interest in that area. Okay. The other thing that we have seen is, a lot of, if you may allow me, a lot of Kenyans in diaspora also now starting to say they want to do something in the country. They want to own something for themselves, I guess because of the uncertainty in those foreign entities. And we have seen in those foreign jurisdictions, and we have seen quite a number of them, showing interest in property ownership here in Kenya over this period.
So at a time where the shilling is tight for most Kenyans, and they say in Kiswahili, kidogo kidogo ujaza kibaba, at this point, the shilling might be tight, but there's still something somebody can put on the side to ensure maybe come next year, there is something you can actually invest in or even own. Speak about the importance of starting small.
Indeed, you have captured it so well. There are many opportunities out there for you to position, and when we look at our business, we have quite a number of those, and there is opportunity, and we have created those for people to come and discuss and say, this is my situation right now. I know it will get better. What can we do together? And start off with something small, a small deposit, position it, tighten your belt a little bit, and squeeze in a shilling or two every month, and put towards your long-term plans. Once you do that, once you readjust your budget and position yourself for your long-term plans, you'll then be able to make it. And we have seen quite a number of Kenyans come to us and request for such plans, and we are making those plans. And in 2 or so years, in a year, 18 months, somebody will be able to own whatever property they want, and they'll be able to have peace of mind that they are seeking.
We have business minds on the panel today, and those who've actually weathered the storm. And you will hear, the economics of it goes a long way in keeping them on top of the pack. Talk about the importance of mentorship when it comes to investments.
Investment is one of those areas where for most of us, when we are brought up, we are not really, raised to understand the importance of, keeping a little bit of money aside, saving, investing that in the long term. Our generation especially, and I can see most of the panelists are from my generation, we are what is called the instant generation. We want everything here and now. We really care very little about the future. And that ability for you to be able to sacrifice for the short term, for the benefits of the long term is important. One of the speakers has spoken about grit. Another person, I think Jackson, has spoken about the ability to say, consistently do your activity. I think it goes the same way for investment. You need to create a discipline, be able to sacrifice some of what you have, and start off, putting that into future investments that will give you value in the long term, and just spend what you can earn. I think the speaker in the studio has spoken about the challenge of remaining where you are even when the economics are changing. And one of the most important things around investments is not spending more than what you have, and what you have being able to split it and being able to sacrifice quite a bit for investment. Nobody has too little to be able to invest. I think it's a question of the attitude you take towards it.
And even as we talk about the little that you can put aside and all that, and you being the investment guru, the question is, have you had to make adjustments on a personal for you to ride this tide?
Oh, yes, I have had to make quite a bit of adjustments on various things, from how I spend my money on my domestic front, to how much I am putting aside, and to which things I would want to put that into. I have had to make commitments for the long term, and realize I need to up my investments on certain areas for the long-term benefit of myself and my family. And I have had to do that also to enable certain, parts of our community from where I come from in Kirinyaga.
Okay, and even as we talk about humble beginnings, somebody could watch you and say you are on a totally different lane. I probably do not, understand your struggle, or you don't understand their struggle. But the truth is, we all started somewhere. Talk about the lessons that you derived from there.
When I started off, and many people might find this a surprise, the first, over the weekend, reflecting with some of my friends, the first activity that I did to earn a living was to actually dig a pit latrine back home for a very little amount of money, 40 feet deep. And back in those days, I think I got only 14,000 for that. And we were sharing with my friends that we were doing this work with. And you start from far. But for everything that you do, then you really must ask yourself various questions. One of my mentors did tell me when I was starting off that when you start earning, you should be able to split what you earn and decide how you want to spend it. So on, say, accommodation or housing, you shouldn't spend more than a third of your salary and or your income and things like that. But even as your situation changes for the better, it does not mean that you now follow the same rule that because you are living in place X, you need to, go to 2X in terms of rent the moment your salary goes up. Instead of doing that, you take up what you have and you're able to save it and use it to grow yourself for the long-term benefit. And I can say some of the things that I went through, 15, 20 years ago were very different from what I have now. But that ability to consistently save, and you'll see within, say, our investment cooperative, we try to create that ethos in our members, that it is very important for you to start small with what you have. Consistently create a routine where you keep aside, and no matter how much more you earn, you reinvest as much as you can in yourself, in your future. Then you are able to grow. And I can say over those years that I have been able to consistently keep a little aside. You'll be surprised when you're saving 1,000 a month and it is compounding. And when you get more, you add, your 15 or 20,000 whenever you get some bulk income and you put it in there. Over a period of 10 years, you find that that amount really grows to something that is substantial and you get a lot of value. Then you invest on the small things and you are able to decide, again, with investments and properties, etc. You take them for the value that you can get, and then you are hopeful in future you can be able to deploy, so you make smart investments there. When you do that, then you are able to get more value from the investments you have made, and the future is really bright for you. And I see that quite a bit in what we do, and for myself as well.
Excellent. Clearly, that was an investment 101 crash course given by Peter Gachanja, Chairman, Safaricom Investment Cooperative Board. Thank you for your time. We take a short break on your world, but I hear you talking to us even as we asked you if you have or changed your job or career or business, and what made you switch and why, or how this is going for you. We'll get to that right after this break.
Safaricom iko na 500 MB free kila siku.
Get 500 MB free kila siku and never miss a moment. Dial *544# to activate your offer. Browse Pilawas on Kenya's best network.
Cementing the nation's future. Simba Cement, the strength and pride of Kenya.
Now also produced in Nakuru and Mombasa.
Oh my, oh my, oh my days. Life is wonderful. Life is wonderful. Life is wonderful. Life is wonderful. Never understood. Life can be this good.
Breaking news from Molfix. Let's see what they're developing right now.
Pants is just for me. It really feels very comfy.
Molfix pants with anatomic fit technology. New Molfix pants, an invention from babies for babies.
You should also try Molfix.
Boy, eta pare. Simama pare. Leo umenifanya niamini mtu anaweza mea ndevu kwa magoti.
Hi everyone, welcome to the ITEL online launch. My name is MC Jesse.
And we'd like to tell you more about the ITEL brand. New ITEL.
S16 series, 6.6 dot notch screen, AI selfie 2.0, gallery draw, 2GB data bundle.
ITEL TV, the earbuds, IFB11 super slim power, the extension strip.
Let's join ITEL to enjoy a better life.
Royal Alloy Zinc is a product of Royal Mabati Factory. Benefits: lasts longer, are lightweight, are fire resistant, of superior strength, 15 years warranty, can harvest water.
Are you running out of budget to build your roof? Don't worry, Royal Mabati Factory has you covered. Delivered free of charge as fast as possible. You can also use our Lipa Pole Pole offer to buy your Mabati and pay in easy monthly installment. Royal Mabati Factory. We are the best.
With the Stay Soft refill, saving money is as easy as snip, pour, mix with water and shake. Stay Soft refill. It's 2 liters of Stay Soft for up to 30% less.
As a fitness fanatic, the closure of gyms due to the coronavirus pandemic has hit me really hard. So for now, working out from home has become my new normal.
There's so many expectations of a Black woman. It's just like, this weight on our shoulders constantly. And then you're trying to break into an industry that's predominantly, white, and it's tough.
Did you know there's a laundry bar soap that can help save you time, water, and money? You save by not having to use multiple products. And you only rinse once. For a laundry soap that can help save you time, water, and money, try Whitewash Extra. Brand power, helping you buy better. It's time to kickstart your smart and give your brain a mega boost with DSTV. There's oodles of mind-blowing channels for kids young all together now. To get your knowledge workout, get connected to DSTV.
It is your world. My name is Gladys Gachanja. Let's look at the other world. An experimental green housing project in a Chinese megacity promised prospective residents life in a vertical forest with manicured gardens on every balcony. Now, all 826 apartments were sold out by April this year, according to the project's estate agent. But instead of a modern eco paradise, the towers look like the set of a desolate post-apocalyptic film. The problem? Well, the mosquitoes love the plants too. Only a handful of families have moved into the Chengdu Chiyi City Forest Garden because of a mosquito infestation. The project in the southwestern city was built in 2018 with every private balcony designed to provide space for plants to grow, according to the local media reports. Elsewhere, Thailand has its share of solemn worship houses and pagodas, but there are also its quirkier counterparts which double as tourist attractions. A more light-hearted take on Buddhism will be found at Bangkok's Priwat Racha Songkaram Temple, where worshippers can see Batman scaling a temple door and Winnie the Pooh trying to remove a beehive from a wall painting. Far from skyrocketing sales, the pandemic hit coffin makers in Mexico, where cremation was imposed for people who died from COVID-19. But one company is trying to overcome the crisis by creating a model that promises to reduce the risk of contagion. Now, Eduardo Lopez of the Platinum Casket Company says before the pandemic and by law, all the bodies had to be taken to their final destination in a coffin, either to cremation or inhumation. But with this crisis, the majority, or to put it in a better way, all of a sudden they had to be cremated. Now, 20 years ago, Eric the Eel Mosambani became a global star after swimming a 100-meter freestyle alone in the Olympic pool in Sydney so slowly that it appeared he might sink. Mosambani was the first swimmer from Equatorial Guinea, a nation with a population at the time of less than 1 million, to compete in the Olympics. Now, he describes his remarkable journey to sporting fame, an unlikely ending for someone who, in his own words, arrived in Sydney not knowing how to swim. He says, on an international level and on a competitive level, I didn't have much experience, really none at all. I didn't know how to move my arms, feet, and coordinate my breathing in the water. Now, a rare 18th century Chinese porcelain vase discovered in a remote Central European house is expected to fetch at least $9 million at Sotheby's in Hong Kong. The forgotten masterpiece had spent the last 6 decades on a shelf in an elderly lady's family home, surrounded by countless cats and dogs.
So this vase actually spent the last 50, 60 years in a house in Central Europe, in the house of an elderly lady in her bedroom. So it was on a shelf, surrounded by cats and dogs, and it spent a beautiful, charmed and lively life in the last 50, 60 years. So it's an absolute miracle that it's still in this extraordinary condition. And so this is a vase that is extremely fragile in the way it was made, with a double vase. You'll see there's an inner vase inside and a reticulated outer vase built, and it survived in a house filled with pets for 60 years, so totally unrecognized design. So vases of this complexity were only produced during 2 years in the early reign of Emperor Qianlong in 1742 and 1743. This vase, and in fact it fits the exact description of a vase in the records, was delivered in the 8th year of Emperor Qianlong, and it was presented to him, and he praised it as a masterpiece. It was actually really noteworthy for the emperor. It was the first time that he was shown pieces of this complexity, and they were never produced later in the reign because they were just too costly. So the vase that we have here is unique. No other examples are known. According to the records, only one was produced, and we expected, actually we have an estimate of 70 to 90 million Hong Kong dollars, which is about 9 to 12 million US dollars, and we expect to fetch far in excess of that.
Back to our conversation of the day, even as we wrap up the same Chanya, I am curious to know, how are you ensuring that you harness the success that you are enjoying at this time, even as the world somehow goes back to normal?
Well, for me, I'd say my biggest strength is partnerships. Some of the virtuals I was able to create just out of finding out from delivery partners or from people in the platforms who are managing my accounts. I would just ask, who is selling now? And I would not necessarily duplicate their product. Maybe I would work with their price point now to create a restaurant for me with that price point so that I can sell as much as they were selling. Yeah. And something else I would say is mentorship. it's very important to be mentored when you're in business, because when you're not mentored, most of the times you'll find yourself reinventing the wheel. But if you're working with people who have been in business before and they're successful and they've probably even failed before, they can tell you, don't do this, do that. And so for me, it's not a one-man show. It's a journey that I have taken with a lot of partners, and everybody I work with, my chefs, my servers, the delivery partners, everyone, everyone's input is important to me, and that is what I'm working with even now, to just remain and even grow, because getting that feedback sometimes in business is not easy. So when you're always getting feedback from people that you work with, that are also interacting with consumers probably more than you, it really helps.
And somebody is asking, would Chanya go back to her job before, or did she find a place that is way better than that corporate job?
Never say never, but God forbid.
I hear you, Chanya. I hear you. Well, Alex, what are you doing to ensure that you stay top of mind and you keep soaring?
Thank you, Gladys. Definitely, I loved what Peter said, reinvesting in self and in making more investments going towards the future. Definitely one of the biggest things that our company has done is that we partnered and we got into a space called the Sandbox, where we continued to enable our business to grow via other people, so that it comes together to bring collaboration to help, myself as a digital marketing expert, how can I learn more from somebody who's also doing maybe like accounting or systems, so that we can improve the small businesses continuously. Because either way, if I'm helping a business on one side, but this other side, it's not working well, in the end, they'll stop paying me because maybe their business is not being sustainable. So the partnerships have come together, and coming towards the Sandbox, we've been able to bring professional experts together in order to help businesses together. So that was one of the biggest reinvestment in our business, to say that we need to continue collaborating and helping. The purpose of our business is to continue helping small businesses have an avenue to speak, have an avenue to market, have an avenue to advertise, but there's also other parts in the business that have to be helped. So coming into the Sandbox, you can tap into another expert. You can tap into somebody who helps the business improve their IT systems, helps somebody else also improve their finance systems, etc. So that collaboration and coming together, I think, is one of the best ways we can go forward into the future of work, that we should stop thinking about work as a competition, rather than what can you bring to the customer, what can you bring, even you as the employee, what can you bring to the table that will help this business go further? Might be learning some few courses, might be a collaboration with somebody else. How can you bring more than you are brought onto the table to do, so that you can grow forward? And I think that's the journey for our business and how it's gonna go forward.
And speaking of which, Buzz, talk about the importance of partnerships in harnessing success.
Yeah, thank you. I think now more than ever before, partnerships are crucial to the continuity of any project, the scaling of projects across the world, across the region. I mean, just look at this show itself. Couple of years back, maybe you would have struggled to get, people across the region to be on Zoom. Because the attitude, we didn't think that would, be very good for TV. For us, we've seen that how this has worked for us. We've already seen this partnership that I mentioned with the Aga Khan University Innovation Center, that it's very good for us to continue believing in our vision of, for example, building the next generation of journalists, but also trusting new processes that we are going to use to engage each stakeholder to make sure we achieve the vision that we set our eyes on. So for any entrepreneurs out there, innovators out there who are, struggling a bit because of the changes, it's really reaching out to see how other people are doing it better than you are doing it, and asking them, how can we do better, or how can we work together? For us, we've found that in this project we're working on with Aga Khan University, where we will be empowering the next generation of innovators to change the media landscape. And if you're out there as an innovator, that's an opportunity that you should look out for. And then the other thing is really what a lot of people have not talked about is being kind to yourself. We are seeing the world is moving also very super fast now. With each day there's a new tool. So if you're not yet there, being kind to yourself to say, and being kind to your team, especially the people you work with, putting yourself in their shoes and see, like for example, some of the people on my team come from very far places that when the transport was stopped in Uganda, it would make really no sense for a team leader to ask them to continue coming to the offices, even when you know that it's going to be hard. So for us to be able to be kind to ourselves, be empathetic, and continue unlearning and seeing what are those things that didn't, that seemed to be like the real deal back then. And now they don't make sense. Like the 9 to 5 thing has been demystified. Every weekend I have to be out in the club or anywhere. It doesn't make sense anymore. We have seen that we don't have to do that. We can stay at home and save money. So that's what I can share about that.
Okay, thank you, Abbas, for your input. And Mwalimu Jackson, what are the things you're ensuring that you put in place to harness the success that you have drawn from this season?
I think I just lost you a bit. You're asking, what am I putting
What
in
are
place?
you putting in place to ensure you harness the success you have reaped from this season?
Yeah. I think what I would consider partnership, like I've just heard even here, partnership is key. It is good to partner with others because now it seems like schools might reopen and they get now to the normal life again we were enjoying. I would maybe consider partnering with some schools so that we can incorporate the creative coding in the schools so that the kids, because coding will still be required. So we'll keep on doing it now, even at school levels in their schools.
Okay, thank you, Jackson. And definitely, Peter, you sit at a place where you have a whole army of employees working for you and with you. And as Alex mentioned, it is important, and Abbas also, the importance of support, the support system, especially from your employer. How have you been supporting those that actually report to you?
Thanks, Gladys. And indeed, Alex and Abbas captured this quite to some level of detail. So at Safaricom Investment Cooperative, we decided as a board in April that we were not going to lay off any of our employees at that time for various reasons. But what we then instituted thereafter were programs to help our staff go through this period of time. So the first, of course, with the restricted movement and the curfews in Nairobi, we changed the models of working and allowed a bulk of our employees to work from home. We gave them additional support in terms of their ability to connect with their clients and our clients by extension, their ability to work from home. We gave them access to guidance and counseling from various providers, and all, trying to constitute an all-round support for them. For those who were able to come to the office, we instituted plans of shift arrangement where they could come in at certain points in time. We realized that it is pretty helpful, even as people are working from home, to kind of open an escape option where they could come to the office occasionally in case they are getting overwhelmed at home for various things. And at least, once a week come in and work from the office, go back home. We gave them protective gear that helps them to take care of themselves. We have a huge team of salespeople who go out there and meet people. And for those ones, we enable them, with some retooling around personal hygiene, especially in roles where you are meeting many different types of people, and the right tools to be able to handle those, hand sanitizers and various other things. We have also created, options for our employees then to position themselves for their future. We have extended some programs we have for property ownership of our employees, and we are seeing quite a bit of that being taken up by them. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Peter, and definitely to you, Joanne. It is clear that we cannot ride the tide alone. So the importance of partnerships, the importance of support systems, even as we thrive in careers and in businesses, is imperative. Talk about what we need to look out for even as we seek the same.
Okay, so I think just for me, let me just give 3 pointers. And the first one is on weathering the storm. Okay, so pursuit is the evidence of intent. So you need to be able to pursue the things that set your soul on fire. So it could be you're in a season where you're job hunting, you've been declared redundant. So you need to like job searching is your full-time 8 to 5 a job. So you need to be intentional about like pursuing the jobs that are in line with your strengths, your skills, and your passions. And then the second thing I'd like to say is half a loaf is better than none, but not if that half loaf is poisonous. So if wherever you are, if it's not working, move. You're not a tree. And the third thing is, what we talked earlier about not despising humble beginnings. Yes. I remember in 2017, it was during elections. And so at the time, I was heavily doing recruitment and HR consulting. So I'd not fully fledged into career coaching. And I remember at the time, I had to really downgrade. So I was staying in a one room, just like a single room, smack in the middle of Kino. The washrooms and the loos were outside. But then I had a good office because I had to make a compromise. Then 3 years later, because we're in 2020, my business has really soared because so I have a team of 8, and we are doing CVs in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Netherlands, UK, South Sudan, and other countries. So you see, so the problems I had in 2017 are not the same kind of problems I have now. Now I need to think about, how do we quickly, how are we able to quickly meet the demands of, like the clientele that we currently have. So it could be that right now you're in a season where things have really changed. You've lost your job, your business is not working, and you really need to downgrade. You need to be kind to yourself. It's just a season, and it's going to, seasons, does not mean that that's where you're going to, to stay. So be kind to yourself, and yeah, things are going to work out in the end.
Talk about the importance of partnerships.
Okay, so yes, so that's really important. So getting like-minded people to help you in doing what what you're doing is really important, because you don't know everything. You're not you're not an expert all by yourself. So we've seen partnerships really working. So that, for example, I do. So let me just give you my own example. So the kind of my clients are mostly entry level and middle entrance career. So I've actually partnered with somebody who, her specialty is in senior C-suite recruitment. And that partnership works because then, we are able to leverage on each other's strengths. So partnerships are really important, because if you want to go far, you need support, you need to partner with other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you to all that made this conversation a success. We had Joanne Thuomoshiri, who is a career coach in studio, Chanya Monyota, founder Soul Food Virtual Restaurants, Peter Murathi, who joined us earlier, the founder of the Emperor Fitness, Alex Moy, digital marketing expert at Archer Digital, Jackson Mwirigi, coding teacher, Abbas Mpindi, who is a media entrepreneur from Uganda, and Peter Gishangi, who is the chairman Safaricom Investment Cooperative Board. Thank you all for your contribution on this conversation. And even as you spoke to us on that hashtag new normal, when you asked you what are these changes you've had to make on your career, business, or your job, why and how is it going for you so far? We have Be the Plug who says, yeah, realize the need to have multiple streams of income, whichever that means, because this life be messing up every day. We hear you. Madeno says, passion plus need to increase source of income. Yeah, that will help you thrive. Davy says, something I wish I knew as a young student, education is not everything. You can open a big corporation and employ learned people than you. Entrepreneurship is a key to an independent lifestyle. Kenya Zed says most people who follow passion usually have a rough start because most of these passionate careers have no opportunities in the country, so they need to create their own opportunities. Teach says, I was living in an apartment, but I have moved to a single just because of Corona. And this is what we're saying, downgrading. There's no shame in it at all. Ken Kiptor says, I have changed from being a teacher to a farmer because COVID rendered me jobless. Ken, we hear you and all the best. Otieno Robinson says, I had to change from looking for a job, which is a job itself, to sitting at the house. Makonde Omusa says, is there anything to change? Well, there's a lot to change, my dear. Look again. Aten says, I now eat once a day and it's makombo ya hoteli flani kabla wafunge usiku. We hear you on the struggle. Dennis B says, I'm planning to start a business before the end of the year, and we wish you all the best, Dennis. A last one here from Gili Juma who says, Kenya, even breathing is an art. We need to be creative to leave this country. Is not for the faint-hearted. We hear you. The hassle is real and we wish you the best. But one thing we've learned is that if you have the intent, if you have the will, it will make a way. Now, tomorrow, we mark the World Heart Day, whose aim is to draw people's attention to heart illness and the range of associated health issues. With Kenya carrying a huge burden of cardiovascular diseases, we shall speak to a cardiologist and also hear testimonies from people who have survived various heart illnesses and the lessons therein. See you then.
I help women find independence by training them in fish farming. It's tough on my back, joints, and can cause headaches. Panadol Extra relieves multiple types of pain. If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
What do you know about this recall place?
Stay away from them. Don't mess with your mind, man.
Welcome to Recall. First time?
Tell us your fantasy. We'll give you the memory. You want to be a crime fighter, or world-class athlete, or secret agent? Yeah. Happy trails, man. What is it? What's wrong? Yank that needle out before it takes.
Why are you here?
Oh, why? No, please!
Wait.
It's all a mistake.